I'm Ron Klopfanstein at Strubble Auditorium, where Utica University Theater Department is rehearsing for Armada, an early modern swashbuckling stage combat spectacle. I'm with Jim Drake, and Jim, you're not only the director, you actually wrote the play too, right?
I did.
So now, what story wasn't being told that you wanted to tell with this piece?
Well, selfishly, Sir Francis Drake may or may not be an ancestor of mine.
Oh, really? And the same name?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I was always interested in that in the first place. This moment in history is what kind of came about.
So the Armada is a Spanish Armada.
Yes.
Yeah, that was defeated by Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth, right?
Yes.
So we shall soon have a historical victory against these enemies of my God, my kingdom, and of my people.
Claire Bosley plays Queen Elizabeth I. Who was Queen Elizabeth to you? You know, she's obviously a historical figure, someone we all have ideas about, but like to you, playing her, what do you think she was like? Who was she to you?
The main thing that comes to me is the word strength. She is somebody that has lived a life that has expectations of who she should be, and basically said, nah, I'm not doing that. Queen Elizabeth I never got married. She was known as a virgin queen. She was standing up to these male historic princes and kings, and
she was a fighter.
She was a fighter. If she could have been on that battlefield, and I say that a lot in the show, like, I'm gonna go fight them myself then. If she could have been on that battlefield fighting, she would have been.
Yeah.
And so
a lot of what comes to me is the strength.
Oh yeah, she was a leader of the charge in a way that I think a lot of royal figures weren't.
Yeah.
She was right there with them.
Females weren't, which is why she's so extraordinary.
Exactly. Yeah.
Derek Neckrits plays Sir Francis Walsingham, and he also serves as plays fight captain.
It is a bit of a challenge to have to learn fight choreography and deliver lines.
Right.
Nobody really talks about how challenging that is. The important kind of hidden part of it is telling a story as you go. So in the scene that you just saw, Walsingham has control the whole time. His movements reflect it. He fights with a smaller weapon because A, he's not scared, and B, since he has that control, he is not worried about if this man opposite him is a danger. It's all part of his sort of cat and mouse game.
Justin Jones, who's a popular and accomplished local actor, plays Hawkins. He's both a knight and a shipwright. How do you learn how to fight on stage with a sword? What do you put into the performance to make it exciting, but also make it safe and make it so it's perfectly timed and choreographed?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
So think of it a lot like you would choreograph a dance number. You know, like if you're going to throw a punch, where you're throwing the punch, the person has the cue of where to dodge the punch.
Right.
And then you just do it at rapid succession, and you practice it hundreds of times. So by the time you actually get there, it's just as safe as us talking. And if I were standing back 10 feet throwing a punch as it is right next to you.
So really, like by the time you're done with the rehearsal, it must be just like as if you're doing any other scene. Like you stand here, you move like this. And
stuff. Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I always preach about when doing it is, and any gym does it, anyone that you talk to, is make sure the cue's there. So if the cue is my arm's back here and my arm doesn't end up there, well then the next thing doesn't move forward, because otherwise someone randomly gets hit in the face.
And the person wants to anticipate like where you're going to be.
Exactly. So there's very big cues that as an actor you notice, but as someone watching the show, because of the dramaticness of everyone moving, the progression, I mean, you don't notice that me going like this is a cue, you just think it's just back for a punch.
Octavia Dragato is a student athlete. This is her first time in a college play.
At first it was hard to learn sword fighting, like the transition from wrestling to sword fighting, because there's similar stances. But
really? So you're a college wrestler?
Yes.
And what is the same, well, what are some of those similarities?
We kind of have to stand similar. I had to learn, instead of crouching down for wrestling, I had to learn to stand up straight.
Interesting.
Yes.
So you're sort of like also like you're kind of acting with your sword. You're kind of acting with your body, with your movements and stuff. How do you put your character? How do you convey that emotion when you're doing the fighting, the sword fighting, the fencing stuff?
Well, when we first learned, we learned how to sword fight and sword fight with emotion.
So when people come to see this play, what do you want them to see?
I want them to see something entertaining. Mm-hmm. I want them to realize that this isn't something, Shakespeare's time is not something to be feared. Right? It's something that you can embrace just as well as you would any TV show, anything like that. It's also something that can excite you.
So when people come to see the play, what do you want them to see?
Honestly, it's going to be a great time. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be really fun. The special effects that I've already seen, and I haven't even seen all of it, are really cool. The sword fighting, the spectacle.
Super exciting.
Oh yeah,
all the fighting and stuff. Yeah.
It's not a show where you're leaving in tears, but it's a show where you're going to walk away saying, "That was a cool
It was
show."
really cool. Yeah. Well, great. Can't wait to see the play.
Yes.
You're one of my favorite actors, so it's going to be awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Armada is an action-packed historical spectacle. It opens on Friday, April 17th, and it runs through Sunday, April 19th. At Utica University, I'm Ron Klopfanstein for 95.5 FM, The Heat. This is Ron Klopfanstein. Meet me in the hot seat every Monday at 5 p.m. for Hot Seat Media Mondays on 95.5 FM, The Heat.